Welcome to Markyate, best known for its
the fish and chip shop,
this bakery, this massive fire station,
and even this working phone box.
This is known as Hertfordshire's hidden gem. Surely it must have some secrets, right? Meet Katherine Ferrers, who is also known as the Wicked Lady, so the legend must say. Now, her backstory is quite difficult to understand, as there are so many theories out there in the world. I don't even know much myself, so I needed to find someone who knew a lot more information. Meet Dick Pilkington, who's known as the local Markyate historian, to tell me more.
Hello Dick, thank you very much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure and a great thing to talk about, and reminded me of days gone by because I haven't thought about it for years. Well, there possibly is no backstory. We've got stories that say that she didn't exist, to actually going right through to she did exist and was a highwaywoman. You could argue that even that is not correct, and she really was actually a sociopath and complete fruitcake who didn't care. You know what a sociopath means. Has got no conscience whatsoever about killing people, robbing people. It's obviously we know now as a mental disease, but so it's unlikely it was neither one nor the other. She lived at the cell, possibly. And some will say no, she didn't even get that far. The family itself was involved in the Civil War, like most of the people in the 1640s and 50s. And he was a royalist, her father, and so during the period of Cromwell, they didn't have anywhere to live because Cromwell didn't allow royalists to own property. When he died in 1658, then Charles II came to the throne. So in 1660, the king, Charles II, decided that he would help people who supported him. So people got their land back, or if they were royalists. The family was royalists, so may or may not have been in the house up there, the cell. But she was there for a couple of years. Did she actually become a highwayman, or a highwaywoman, should we say, I suppose, these days? Debatable. What other things in the myth? Well, there's definitely a tunnel from up there, and it comes out at the bottom of my garden. Well, I can't show it to you because when they put the bypass in 1957, that was it. It was destroyed because they can't. You can get it up on the field up there, somewhere in the seven grounds. Yeah, so there definitely is a tunnel. So yeah, we can say that is possible. She came out somewhere here on the A5. But of course, we all know that she should have been robbing people that were in Williamstead. Why she would go all the way from here to Williamstead, I don't know. And that's people again question that. Like, it's not like now. How long did it take you to get there? 10, 15 minutes? Well, it probably took them like an hour and a half to ride it because the roads were rubbish anyway. So what would you do that for? Yeah. And she was supposed to have gone down that tunnel, wounded, and never come out the other end. That's the ghost bit. Yeah. We've had people sitting out there, and even sitting in her bedroom up there. You could see the cell then. You can't now because all the trees have grown. But you could see the cell, and we have people up there thinking that they might see a ghost if they sit out in my bedroom long enough. So that's a part of the mystery and part of the story. One of the films is worth looking at is The Wicked Lady. That's the best one to get the sort of the mystery picture, if you like. Because as I said, it's quite likely that she probably didn't exist as such. We're never going to find that out, I don't think. You know, you would think it would be easy. Like, I don't know. So that's the stories that you've got to cope with, isn't it, as a historian? You just don't get the information. And don't forget that most people didn't read and write. So, and particularly in the Civil War, you know, it's a problem, isn't it? You know, and she died in 1660. We know that, and she was 26, I think. She was quite young. Yeah, she got married when she was 12. That was allowed then, by the way. There's nothing illegal in that. But it certainly wasn't 16. It was certainly was much younger, so that's not surprising. Never had any children. Part of the story says that she wasn't a highwayman at all, and she died of childbirth. But there's no evidence of that at all. So there's loads and loads of different stories, isn't there? But I like the one. I think the story told in the Gainsborough film that we're talking about is pretty good as a possible myth. Does that sound sensible? It doesn't really, does it? But yeah. I think if she was a wicked lady, she definitely was guilty. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time with the questions.
As Dick said before, Katherine had lived in a manor called Markyate Cell, possibly. And funny enough, I just lived down the road from it. Here's a view from afar. And to make it even creepier, this is what it looks like at night. Spooky, right? Markyate Cell was originally built in 1539 and was owned by Humphrey and Bossier. In the 17th century, the manor was remodelled for the Ferrers family. Since The Wicked Lady is famous in Hertfordshire, inspiration has taken place, and even some buildings and roads have been named after Katherine. So, where are these located exactly? Welcome to the Wicked Lady pub. Located in Wheathampstead, this pub has been given 5 stars for its amazing food and drinks. But why is this pub symbolic? Well, it is to be believed that the pub is haunted, especially at night. If you listen closely, you can hear horses' hooves galloping. The first thing you'd probably notice when you go inside the pub is actually the architecture itself. Even if I'm standing upright, you can see that the ceiling almost touches my head to show that actually this building's pretty old. Look at the chimney as well, it's so crooked. However, this pub is not just a prominented place. A road called Ferrers Lane, located in no man's land, which is actually just down the road from the pub, is also to be believed that Katherine spent her time riding on her horse there, and actually, maybe some of her crimes were committed there too. However, her wicked high ways were over, as Katherine died in 1660 in June at the age of 26. But what happened to her body? Well, originally, the Fanshaws were from where? So she was actually buried there herself, in a church called St Mary's the Virgin. This church is as old as the 11th century, and Katherine's grave is to be believed located here. However, when we visited the church, there was no such thing as Katherine Ferrers. Puzzled by this information, I spoke to a vicar who works at the church. She said that there wasn't much evidence for Katherine to ever be married to Thomas Fanshawe, and that in that period, gravestones and memorials were too expensive, and most people didn't have them put up for their families. Since Thomas Fanshawe had been locked up in the Tower of London due to riots, Katherine did live very distant from him, so when she died, the family might have decided not to put one up for her. Could this have been the mystery? One thing that remains a mystery is Ralph Chaplin. I tried to get in touch with a lady who knew about him but wasn't able to. But her theory is that the Fanshaws were quite a greedy family, especially Katherine's husband, Thomas. When Katherine got married, all of the Fanshaws and Ferrers family fortune was spent by him. Katherine, as the last of her Ferrers family name, was a bit annoyed by this. When Thomas was locked up in the Tower of London, Katherine grew closer with Chaplin, as originally he was to be believed to have worked as a farmer for Katherine, which sort of makes sense in the story. And the two fell in love and started their robberies together. However, the twist is that Katherine was robbing people to earn her fortune back from what had been stolen. So actually, the sense that she was a sociopath might not actually be true.
So there you have it, Katherine's story in various different locations. I'm sure we've all learnt something, don't you think? But what do you think? Do you think she was innocent or guilty for her crime? crimes.